kind of summer that novels are written about, filled with endless nights, fleeting romances, and that intoxicating taste of freedom just on the horizon. Our story, though, took a dark turn one of those nights, transforming our carefree summer into a thriller we never asked to be part of. Me, Mike, and Jenna had made the carnival our own personal playground, reveling in the chaos and magic that it brought to our sleepy town. But our fascination quickly soured when we got hooked on a ring toss game that seemed impossible to win. After burning through our limited cash with nothing to show for it, we started to suspect something was off. "This is rigged," Mike muttered, squinting at the bottles with a skeptic's eye. Jenna, ever the optimist, suggested maybe we just suck at this, but I wasn't so sure. "No," Mike's right. "Look at the rings in the bottles. They're slick, almost shiny. There's no way." Our curiosity morphed into a mission. We decided to investigate after hours, thinking we'd uncover a small-time scam at most. Hiding behind a cluster of food stalls as the carnival lights dimmed, we felt like characters in our own detective story. That was until we were caught. Rough hands dragging us into a shadowed tent where the carnival's underbelly was laid bare. The tent was dimly lit, casting long shadows over crates and equipment. In the center stood the carnival manager, a hulking figure whose presence demanded attention. The game operator stood beside him, visibly sweating, wringing his hands nervously. The manager's voice was cold, controlled. "Thought you could play hero, huh?" He didn't wait for an answer. "You kids have no idea what you've stumbled into." Mike, braver than I felt, shot back. "We know enough. This game is a scam. What else are you hiding here?" The manager laughed, a sound devoid of any humor. "Smart kids. Too smart." His gaze shifted to the game operator. Without warning, he grabbed a hammer from the table and brought it down hard on the man's hand. The crack of bone was sickening. "Carelessness has a price," he said. The operator's cries filling the tent. Turning back to us, his threats were clear. He knew where we lived, knew our families. "You really want to test me?" he challenged. The mention of pressing charges against us for theft and trespassing, ensuring we'd miss graduation, was his final blow. Shaken, we left the tent with a warning that felt like a death sentence, but we couldn't let it go. Our resolve was stronger now, tinged with fear, but fueled by outrage. We went to the police, but were met with dismissive stares and skepticism. Carnival scams are not our priority, we were told. Our evidence brushed off as insufficient. Undeterred, we returned the next night, this time determined to catch everything live on Instagram, hoping public pressure could succeed where we had failed. "This is it, live proof," Jenna whispered, her finger hovering over the Go Live button on her phone. We were more careful, but not enough. Caught again, dragged back into that same tent. The manager's sneer was the last thing we saw before fists rained down on us. In the chaos, I managed to slip my phone into my pocket. The live stream still running, broadcasting our cries and the threats being hurled at us. One of our viewers, thank God, was quick thinking enough to call the cops. The police burst into the tent just in time, their body cameras adding to the footage we had accidentally captured. The manager and his cronies were handcuffed as paramedics tended to us, their faces a mix of shock and guilt for not having believed us earlier. The aftermath was a whirlwind of hospital visits, police statements, and media attention. The live stream had gone viral, exposing not just a rigged carnival game, but a network of theft and money laundering that had plagued our town, unbeknownst to all. We were hailed as heroes, but the titles felt hollow. The bruises and scars, reminders of the cost of our heroism. The carnival was shut down for good, the manager and his associates facing a slew of charges. As for us, graduation was a bittersweet ceremony, our names now synonymous with the scandal. I'll never forget the carnival that came to our small town a few years back. It was supposed to be the highlight of our summer, a tradition that brought everyone together for a day of fun, laughter, and carefree enjoyment. But for me, it turned into a nightmare that haunts me to this day. The day started off great. We hit every ride, played every game, and indulged in all the carnival food we could handle. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, my family decided to make our last stop at the fun house. It looked innocent enough from the outside, with its brightly colored facade and the sound of laughter echoing from within. I couldn't have been more wrong. Inside, the fun house was a labyrinth of mirrors, twisting and stretching our reflections into grotesque shapes. My family ventured in ahead of me, their silhouettes quickly swallowed by the maze. I lingered at the entrance, mesmerized by my distorted image, before stepping into the maze myself. That's when the atmosphere shifted. The laughter from my family faded, replaced by an eerie silence that seemed to envelop me. I called out for them, but my voice seemed to get lost in the maze, my own echoes mocking me. As I wandered deeper, trying to find my way, the air grew colder, the lighting dimmer, and the reflections in the mirrors became sinister, my twisted image leering back at me with an unsettling malice. It was in this disorienting, chilling environment that I felt it, a sudden grip on my shoulder, firm and inescapably strong. Before I could react, a hand clamped over my mouth, stifling my scream. The smell of his breath was putrid, like decaying meat, overwhelming my senses as he whispered directly into my ear with a voice that was calm, yet filled with a terrifying promise of danger. "Just be quiet, and this will all be over soon," he hissed, his words slithering into my mind like venom. He dragged me backward, his grip unyielding, through a side door I hadn't noticed before. Panic surged through me, a primal, all-consuming fear. I was being kidnapped, pulled away from the safety of the carnival, away from my family. His whispers continued, each word a twisted promise of a nightmare to come. "You're going to be special, just like the others," he murmured, his breath hot against my cheek. The realization that I wasn't his first sent shivers down my spine, my mind racing with images of what had happened to the others. As we emerged into the parking lot, the carnival lights receded, casting long shadows that seemed to dance menacingly around us. The lot was nearly empty, the gravel crunching under our feet as he dragged me towards an old, rusted car hidden in the darkness. Every step we took away from the carnival was a step into oblivion, my heart pounding in my chest as I struggled against his iron grip. In that moment of sheer terror, survival instincts took over. I bit down on his hand as hard as I could, the taste of his skin foul in my mouth. My scream finally broke free, a desperate cry for help. "I'm being kidnapped! I don't know this man!" The words barely left my lips when I saw a group of dads nearby turn their heads, their expressions shifting from confusion to horror to resolve in seconds. They charged at him like avenging angels, their fists and feet a flurry of motion. The man tried to fend them off, but the dads were relentless, fueled by a protective rage. I was dropped to the ground, as they continued to subdue him. Their shouts and the sounds of the struggle, a cacophony in the night. The police arrived soon after, their sirens cutting through the night, and the man was arrested. The aftermath was a blur of officers' questions, my parents' tearful relief, and the lingering echo of my own screams in my ears. Reflecting on that night, the memory of his foul breath, the sinister whispering in my ear, and the cold grip of his hand on me still sends chills down my spine. The horror of being so close to an unthinkable fate, of being one of the special ones he spoke of, is something I can't shake. The realization that there are monsters lurking in the midst of joy and laughter, waiting for a moment to strike, has left a mark on me.